Hello. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Yes, testing. All right. Let's go and have a look. So, last night I streamed, and yeah, let's have a look at this. Let me look at the volume. No changes. Good. Just check at these anchored VWAPs from the low here. Oh, this is nice. We're back above the dare I say it, capitulation low anchored VWAP. So that's a pretty bullish sign to be above it. It acted as resistance here, some kind of resistance here. Maybe we can flip this area into support, huh? This is quite an interesting area to see if that can if we can get some support here or not. So it's quite an interesting area. From the top to the bottom, we have the golden pocket there. Just take this range, volume range. Yeah, so the point of control, golden pocket, value area high. I think in this move, that's the target. To be honest with you, in this kind of specific move, that really is the target. Get everyone quite bullish up there, but if the price can find support here, that would be great. If not, as always, it's going lower. And if it does decide it wants to go lower, I mean, it's always possible to go all the way back down to the golden pocket, which is the value area low. It's got options here. It's hard to know exactly what the price is going to do. Ideally, it needs to find support here. This would be really bullish if we can kind of flip this level here into support and go up. That would be really quite nice to see. Otherwise, as you can see on this kind of time frame, 1 hour time frame, we've put in a lower low. We've taken out the lower high here. That's a higher high. So the next thing you'll be looking for is a higher low on the 1 hour time frame. That's what we're looking for right now. Higher low on this 1 hour time frame. This is where the market starts to change shape, when you have a little bit of initial structural change. Obviously, we don't want to take out this low. That would be a clear invalidation of a structure change here, and it would just be another lower low, and this would become the lower high. So right now we're having a little bit of a pullback, bit of take profit. We're not finding support on this anchored VWAP just yet. So we're coming down to the point of control. The point of control is a really important area because we have tested it as resistance here. Let's see if we can flip the point of control into support. It'd be nice if we can do this and do that. It'd be really nice to get a little bit of a up and then down and then up type thing. It'd be nice if we can experience that here. Just a little bit of consolidation here above the point of control in a local uptrend. That would be quite good to see. But I mean, obviously people get really bearish when the price comes down. They can think, oh my god, it's going to zero. Could. Oh my god, we've lost the anchored VWAP. We have. But we're coming to the point of control here. We have to see what happens next. In my stream last night, if you haven't seen it, it's a bit long, so I don't expect you to watch it. But I went over the different options. I always go over options. Options are good. And I've noticed that when I don't get many watchers, the price always wants to go up. When I get lots of people watching, the price is ready to dump. But effectively, just mute it. I went over the candles, I went over everything, went over the local price action, stayed up until candle close, right into the end, contemplated situations and different price actions. Finally, I came up with a plan. Let me see if I can find it. I had two ideas of a retrace after yesterday's strong close. It was a really strong close. I had an idea of just coming into the local golden pocket for an up. That was my idea. And obviously the other idea was to take the low again for an up. So I was thinking up. I wasn't thinking down. I was thinking up last night. And when you look at the price action, that's what it did. It came kind of to the local golden pocket and kind of went up. Grinding up. Now it's coming back down. So coming back down for a test. Trying to find support. Really strong really strong 12-hour bullish engulfing candles. A very strong candle, increasing volume on that candle, really nice. So I mean, technically I wouldn't mind if the price found support here in the next 12 hours. It'd be quite choppy, it'd be quite hard to buy and sell here right at the point of control. Technically it could come all the way down to the bottom of the bullish engulfing. Totally do that. Look at this 4-hour candle. Closed higher. 4-hour candle closed higher. That's quite nicer. So we're getting higher closes now on these 4-hour time frame candles. Have you seen these candles? Closed higher, closed higher. This one's closed higher by a fraction. So as you can see now, we're closing higher. So you can't judge this latest kind of pullback in the first 30 minutes of this new candle. We have to see what happens next. Clearly that's a really bearish 2-hour candle, which is why we're getting a pullback. So the lower time frames are turning, whereas on the medium to higher time frames we're kind of trying to turn to an upward trajectory. A little bit of volume coming in here into the point of control. Look at that. Let's analyze this local price action quickly to see what's going on. So we had a little bit of bullish divergence, which was just invalidated. But we have bullish divergence at the lows here. You see that? Lower CVD, higher lows, which is bullish. We were getting a little bit bullish CVD here, invalidated now. And here you see this is a long. A long's just closed. Quite a big long actually. It's like minus 14 million. Drop in OI. Some shorts as well. look, 2.1 million, 2 million imbalances. So we are getting shorting in this range. You can see it clearly because the CVD is going down, the OI is going up. So there's been some shorting here, but we are getting some bullish across these ranges. We are getting a little bit of bullish divergence. If that starts to increase, then we could be looking for higher. And usually when it's really bearish, that's a good time to buy. That's usually the best time to buy when it's bearish, but obviously no one's looking to catch falling knives. So I'm not saying just go willy-nilly and just go buy. We've got a nice buying tail here at around 95,200. Honestly, that would be a really good place to buy if the price came down to there. Just that nice buying tail. Hasn't been tested. We've got daily open, which could act as support. We've got the local session, the New York session's in play. We've got the New York session point of control. We're above the VWAP. So at the moment, we're looking quite bullish. We're looking quite bullish, aren't we? This is telling me something else. That's the New York session. Why is that blue? Why is that different? Okay, let's just go to this one. It's probably better. So we've got a little bit of volume here. Look, we've got some single prints. Okay, so that's that's a little bit bearish to create some single prints on this drop. There's a little gap there. Solana, hi, welcome. So we're in this kind of local buying tail. It's actually kind of in this session. It's actually a good place to buy, to be honest with you. Buying tails are really good places to buy in the local session, especially since we're above the VWAP and let's have a look here. But I mean, I'm not suggesting people just go crazy buy. We haven't had a test of daily open, and sometimes we do get a test of daily open with the New York session, just a nice back test before the price figures out what it wants to do to go up or whatever. I must say that I am actually really bullish, and I'll explain why. What news? Dumper, John. Solana, what news? So in my stream yesterday and during the day and last night, I'm not expecting you guys to watch it because it's long. So I'll just go over it now quickly and just explain what I'm thinking so you understand. So the reason why I did a late stream on Sunday night, fake bullish, is because I like to see where the candles close. I like to see closes on these higher time frame candles. Really, for me, that's really important to determine the next direction of the move. Down or up? That's the question, down or up? Let me just hide this. And what we had yesterday on the weekly time frame was a really nice strong weekly close. That was the previous week low and we closed above it. Yeah. So usually for me, that means that despite all the buying and selling, the price closed higher than the previous low. So it's a bearish candle because it's a red candle. The bears are in control. Yeah. The objective of bears is to try and close lower. Red candles suggest that the bears are in control. Green candle suggests that the bulls are in control. So it flips. The market flips between bearish and bullish. Yeah. Red candles is about control. It's not about bearishness. It's about control. Okay. So when you see a red candle, it means in that time frame, the bears were in control. And the game that's being played is to close higher or lower. It's all about the close. So bears want to close lower, bulls want to close higher. And typically it's in the context of the previous candle. Now, if you're using a weekly time frame, it's the weekly candle. A monthly time frame, it's the monthly candle, etc. Okay. So generally speaking, I'll look at the weekly time frame. I'll look at the monthly time frame, but it takes such a long time to play out that it's hard to just make instant decisions, like short-term decisions based on monthly time frame candles. And We are seeing inside candles, 100%. We're seeing inside candles. Which candle here is controlling the price? Well, at the moment, it's this one, isn't it? So we're just range bound in this green candle. But you can't just kind of look at that and go, oh, this is bullish. You just take it week by week, because if you're trying to trend down, if this was the top, if this is the top, then I find it difficult to imagine that the bears wouldn't be able to close lower than the previous week low. That would be a continuation candle for continuation to the downside. We didn't get that. We actually got a strong close, a bullish close in a bearish candle, because the close was higher than the previous week low. So effectively, in a sense, that's the range at the moment, and we closed at the bottom of the range, above the bottom of the range. Typically in that scenario, you're looking now to go to the top of the range, huh? Because you're at the bottom of the range. We've just been, the range has held the price, and it's a balance of probabilities. It's always kind of a balance of probabilities. It's never 100%. On different time frames, you see different things happening. And when it comes to closes, I'm not asking for closes below the previous close. I'm looking for closes below the previous low. That's important. So I look at the different time frames, and I'm looking at the different types of candles. And last night I was looking at a 2-day candle. I was seeing that this was really nice, because you took the lows, you took the liquidity from the lows. That's a swing failure, and you couldn't close lower. Yeah. So the liquidity was cleared, and the price actually closed higher than the previous low. We've seen that a few times. Huh? We had a strong close yesterday. We had a green close. So the bulls actually were in control, even though it felt bearish. And the price took all of these lows, closed higher. It's really bullish for the price to go all the way down, close higher. Clearly the bears weren't in control of yesterday, even though it felt like they were, because the price went all the way down. The bulls were actually in control. Took the high, took the low, closed higher. It's bullish. It's a bullish candle yesterday, and that's why last night, because the weekly closed higher than the previous week low, because the daily closed higher than the previous day low, because the 2-day as well closed higher than the previous 2-day close, etc. And so you kind of just can look at all these different time frames. The 5-day, it looks bearish, huh? But actually, again, it's the same idea. It closed. The bears want to try and close down there. They couldn't. They couldn't close. All right, so we're still kind of range bound to a degree, but it looks like the price is now trying to reverse. When you think about how much the bears were in control here, they were in control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days on the trot. They were able to push the price lower a few times, but on each occasion they successively failed to close lower than the previous lows. It was a failure. It's a failure of the bears, actually. That's what the bears want to do, and they want to close lower. They want the price to go down. That's when you're bearish or when you're selling, you want the price to go down. You don't want the price. If the price isn't going down and you're selling. This, for me, this is an extremely bearish candle. So if the price wanted to collapse, that's really when it would happen. After that candle, you'd get just a big sell-off. You'd get a big dump all the way down there. We didn't get that, did we? So that was a swing failure of the lows there, and then we had another swing failure there. So we've got these kind of continuous swing failures, and then when you put that into context, so I went over different scenarios yesterday of what could happen. I'm never telling you what will happen. I'm always telling you what could happen. I contemplated different ideas of where the price could turn. The first area of interest for me, which I talked about in my earlier stream yesterday, was the golden pocket. I said this is the first area. And I'll show you. I mean, I'm not a soothsayer, but I'm just kind of imagining what could happen. Yeah. I talked about options, giving people options. Okay, hold on a second. Give me a sec, my phone's calling. Give me a moment, guys. I just have to deal with this situation. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. So yeah, I was talking about possibilities yesterday, and I was talking about Wyckoff, and this was my first kind of idea, just a very simple idea, just kind of like something like that, which I actually think we're there at the moment. Oh God. At the moment, everything can change. You know, crypto's a fucking mental place. You know, never 100%, but that was my first idea. I had a few other ideas. This is my first. You can't think lower until you see what happens next. You know, and this is kind of, it's really important, because generally speaking, you know, when you're bearish, it's good to buy, and when you're bullish, it's good to sell. And I think people try to preempt the market based on what they're currently seeing, but the reality is this is our first level, the golden pocket. If the price can't get through it, then why think lower? Why would you think lower if the price can't even get through the golden pocket? We hadn't actually tested the golden pocket in all of this kind of this these moves down. Test it. This is the first test, and look, doesn't look too bad at the moment. I'm not saying it can't, the price can't do this. Price can always do that. That's the caveat. That's why people love and hate crypto, because even though this looks like a good setup and it was really bullish, the price can always do that. Can always do that. But at the moment, we found a little bit of strength. Yeah, the strength is in finding support, and also the strength is in reclaiming local highs. Yeah, that requires strength. You can't reclaim local highs if the price is weak. Confirmation here of continued strength, and that's the objective, is a higher low. Hopefully here, to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind if we just found a low here, and a higher high. Then you have market structure change on these local time frames, and once you get local time frame market structure change, the market will start buying the higher lows and selling the higher highs, and we could get that. That's how the trends change. That's how the trends begin. We're still looking at a 4-hour time frame higher low, and this is what people don't realize or recognize, or maybe not appreciate. People are bearish, or have been bearish for many days, but as I explained in one of my previous streams, this was the lower high here, and that bounce from that capitulation type low took out the high for a higher high. That was your higher high. Higher, that was your lower low. So that was your lower high. Why is that your lower high? You know, I don't know if people know how to read the charts, actually, because that was the lower low here. Sorry, this candle here, that was the lower low. It's just one candle. One candle made the lower low, and that single green candle made the lower high before this low was taken. You had a very tiny market structure change. It was a very short period there. We had little four candles represented a 4-hour time frame market structure change confirmation. That's why we saw the sell-off, because the structure changed. It was confirmed. Yeah, we took out the low, we put in a lower high just there, and then we took out the same low, and so you had a change there. That was why the price started to sell off crazily, and then the recovery took out the lower high there for the higher high. That became the higher high on a 4-hour time frame. Okay, and this kind of capitulation type low has made it very difficult for the bears to confirm a 4-hour market structure continuation, because we're still bearish. It's still bearish market structure, but we've just taken out the high, the lower high. Naturally, when you have taken out the lower high, next objective for the bulls is a higher low. And so that's kind of what we've been trying to form here. And it's very shaky. It's very shaky because typically in a V-shaped recovery, which that is, this is a V, you're looking for the price to come and find support at around 50%. And for days, the 50% mark was tested, lost, reclaimed, lost, back tested, resistance, pump, dump, finally to the golden pocket and back above the 50 mark. Okay, so it's a challenger. It's a real struggle. For a V-shaped recovery, that's kind of what you're expecting. You're expecting consolidation that kind of takes the price down to capture lower prices, liquidity, lower liquidity, higher low. And what we want to see next, hopefully, I don't know, is a break to take out that high. That's really what we want to see next. If this is going to play out, it doesn't always go up in a straight line, like pretty much never. What we want to see next is bam, bam, bam type thing, like really shaky, but push to take out that. Once you get a market structure confirmed change in 4-hour time frame, good place to take profit, but also the market's going to now start being really bullish, because you've gone from a really bearish situation back to bullish, but you've also confirmed some kind of structural change. Okay, so we're not there yet. It's an idea, a possibility. We still have some work to do. The bulls still have some kind of strength to show. This was our first kind of sign of potential strength here, which was to hold the golden pocket. The next one is to recapture higher levels, and then obviously you need the follow through. So typically bullish CVD is a good sign. So now that we're starting to see a little bit bullish CVD, that means bulls are starting to buy again. They're putting limit orders to buy, and you still need market buying, which typically requires shorts to start closing. So if you've got big shorts in this range, which we probably do, which haven't closed their positions, they're still feeling bearish for reasons that are obvious. They're looking at the higher time frame and they're feeling really bearish, but they can bet it is possible for shorts to be squeezed if they start seeing signs of strength, and if they start seeing that the price actually isn't going down, it's starting to come up. You start getting shorts to close at market, which pulls the price up. People who are on the sidelines waiting will enter here. Will enter at the top. Yeah, which is why often you get a 4-hour market structure change and then the price pushes up. Yeah, and people catch the last bit of the move, whereas the move potentially has already begun to the upside. Now, it doesn't look like it's an impulsive move, huh? It doesn't look like it. I don't know if it is, even, to be honest with you. It could get quite impulsive as we go higher, but right now it doesn't feel impulsive. And so it's very difficult to long these types of moves. Very difficult to long unless you capture a good entry, like I showed yesterday in my live stream, midnight candle close for a back test here on my stream. I said that was the place. After we saw the candle, the weekly close, I said the local golden pocket is the right place to long. I didn't take that long, to be honest with you. I had to scale in afterwards, which sucks because I have to scale in with smaller amounts, just simply because I was asleep and my alert went off, and I was asleep. So I'm not going to just not go to bed. I just have to wait for the next amazing setup. But I mean, maybe I should have, because I was waiting for this for weeks, or a week or two. But who cares? It is what it is. At the moment, this is where we're at, and it still affirms my original idea. And so I don't like to throw ideas away just because the price doesn't always do what I want or what I expect, because the price never does that. My original idea, which is still actually relevant, is this Wyckoff distribution schematic. There's one of two, 1, 2, take your pick. At the moment, it kind of still looks like we're here on both of these schematics. Yeah, doesn't really matter which one we're in. One is a lower high here, one is a higher high there, but either way, I guess in this circumstance the one on the left is probably the best one, because it'll get people really bullish and Bitcoin will go to new heights. But I'm still looking at this as a Wyckoff distribution. I'm still looking at this whole thing as a Wyckoff distribution type idea. And I explained yesterday that even if we went down and tagged the weekly low, as long as we don't take out this sign of weakness in phase B type pivot, because that's when we went to put the UT, as long as we don't take out this sign of weakness, I would still be thinking Wyckoff distribution. It's just that wasn't this pivot low. Actually, it was more like, yeah, like you just don't know. You just have to wait to see what happens. And then the other idea I had yesterday was the idea of going much lower for an actual capitulation now to around 84. But at the moment, we're not there, are we? We know you can't think 84 when we can't even, the price can't even get through 95, huh? And after these multiple bearish days, the price is trying to reverse. Not to say that the price can't today close lower and dump. Can totally do that. Can totally do that. So today's daily close is going to be very important. If New York wants to take the price down, they will. And there's nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Nothing I say is going to make any difference to what New York can do. It's just a fact, yeah. But as a balance of probabilities, just the way the week closed, just the way the days have closed, just the way the bears have been in control and failed to take lower, just because there's no real liquidity there, it's all been cleared. So it'd have to be some really aggressive market selling, and generally if that happens, the market reverses that for a test first. You're not just going to get a massive market sell and then for the price not to come up and liquidate the sellers first. And so it's not likely, it's not likely, but it could happen. It could always happen. So that's why you have to be aware of the possibilities. It's always possible to go back down for a test. No one knows. No one really knows. It's just kind of speculative at the moment. But I do like to see, I like what I'm seeing at the moment, because I can see that we put in a higher high on the 1 hour time frame. We have put a higher high, lower high, lower low. If we can put in a higher low somewhere, there's a big empty space here, then and the price can just go up and take out that high. It could do it now, but if it goes lower than something like that, then we're in a lower time frame, lower to medium time, lower, not really medium, lower time frame market structure change to bullish confirmed. Once that happens, we're now in an uptrend. Yeah, we're in an uptrend. And uptrends can be quite painful for edge traders who like to catch the edges, but for traders who are just trading the range, it can be quite nice, because you're just selling that higher high, you're buying the higher low type thing. Hi Marve, welcome. He's saying that the trend is up today, Euro markets are up. So at the moment, even though it looks pretty miserable in the last hour, and it doesn't look like it wants to go up, yeah, the reality is that if you zoom out a little bit, the markets are saying up. Everything is up. Everything is looking to go up. Yeah. If you can't get through a specific level for a period of time, if you've cleared the liquidity, if the liquidity has been cleared all the way down to here, and now what the price generally tries to do is go up for the higher liquidity. If it can't get through a certain level, then the price tries to trend up to take out the liquidity, to see whether you found support. Now you want to go and find resistance. That's what the price wants to do. And interestingly enough, it was increasing volume. Now, this week is going to be important, because obviously no one knows what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen. Okay. So it's all kind of still a balance of probabilities. But if we do have a Wyckoff distribution in play, yeah, at the moment it looks like it. And so these are quite nice, these schematics, because they can keep you sane. Then we're basically somewhere here. Could it do that, and then that, and then that, and then that, and then that? Yeah, could totally do that. It's kind of what you're expecting. A little bit of volume put here, and then for the final push, maybe by the end of the month, to initially 107k. That's where the liquidity is, and if that's not enough for the market, then the all-time high. You've got two areas of big liquidity. It's about 106.7k, and then all the way up at 110, 111k. So I would argue that that's the destination, but I don't know if it's going to be easy for people to trade, because we could grind up, we could grind up, grind down, grind up. It could be really choppy. Arguably, if the market believes that this is the bottom, then you're going to start seeing alts move again. Okay, and so the other kind of chart that I've been looking at is ETH BTC. Okay, very important chart because ETH BTC indicates whether altcoins are strong or weak. Last week we had a very bearish close. Okay, extremely bearish, close lower, like exactly what I said. Bears are in control. Bears are in control with a caveat. You had a very strong buying tail, capitulation wick, buying tail, call it what you want. Generally speaking, when the buying tail is bigger than the body of the candle, even though the bears is a bearish candle and the bears are in control, I would actually consider that quite a bullish candle in the sense that the bears have been pushed back significantly. Yeah, doesn't mean the price can't go kind of down, but it's kind of what you want to see to acknowledge or recognize that we've kind of hit some kind of major area of support, and that support goes all the way back to December 20, the beginning of the last altcoin season, and we put in a higher low there. At the moment it's looking like a higher low there. Now who knows what this week is going to hold. This could do exactly what happened the previous time. This one also closed lower, you see that, and ETH BTC went all the way down that capitulation wick to put a higher low there, to bounce right back for a bullish engulfing. Like, it's like we could be there, but it could be painful if ETH BTC does that, because you're looking at 12, 13, 10, 13% pullback against BTC. In that moment, that's because BTC pumped when ETH BTC did that. So it's actually still, the market was still quite strong when ETH BTC pulled back. It wasn't the market going down here, it was the market going up. The situation is slightly different here because we're at the bottom end of a massive downtrend potentially, and so I don't know if we're going to get that kind of behavior, because here the trend had already been reversed weeks prior for the price to create that kind of situation. We're more likely, I can't see any candles which represent what we're more likely to do. We're more likely to do something like this here, where this is the same situation where you had really, again, another strong bearish candle, although here the wick is a bit shorter than the body. Then you get another kind of weekly close, but it didn't close lower, and then the next week was just like a crazy bullish, impulsive, bullish engulfing with continuation. I think this is more likely because here we are in the bottom end of a massive downtrend. It's kind of, I wouldn't say it's similar, but I'd be looking for something more like this than something more like that, just because of the context of how these candles form. And to be honest with you, whatever happens, I don't think this is the bottom of ETH BTC. Yeah, even if we do go up like we did here, it's, you know, it will be very bullish until it's not. Bam! And you have to bear that in mind. We could get, you know, who knows, like no one really knows. So I think the reason why is because when you have a higher time frame downtrend, you have bearish momentum that can't just be rectified by a simple pump. Yeah, you've got higher time frame moving averages. Pick any one, doesn't really matter. I generally use the 20 and the 50, and they're very bearish. So even if we do get a couple of weeks or 3 weeks of green here, which would be nice, you're still coming into a really bearish downtrend. So that's kind of why I'm thinking of a Wyckoff distribution on Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin does kind of pump to 107 plus, altcoins will start to relief rally, but effectively that's what it becomes, a little bit of a relief rally for Bitcoin to actually capitulate, to properly capitulate. That's kind of still where I'm at. Nothing's really changed, and we'll just have to keep on monitoring the charts. As always, none of this is financial advice. I'm not telling people what's going to happen. I'm just giving ideas of what could happen. It's always a balance of probability. I base my probabilities on higher time frame candles, specifically with candle closes and the ranges of candles top to bottom. It's never 100%, but it does help keep you on the right side of the move. If you see continuation to the upside or the downside, you kind of don't want to go against the move, the momentum of the move. You want to try and go with the move. Whatever the move is, you want to kind of go with the move. If the market is starting to trend up, the market's trying to change now, and it's just put in a higher high, there's no reason to start selling until it goes back to bearish in that sense. Okay, you can start at the lower time frames. The lower time frame goes from bullish to bearish to bullish to bearish quite often. So you see here on the 5-minute time frame, that's your higher high. Technically here, this is your higher low. Yeah, so the 5-minute time frame, even though that it looks like we've put in a lower low here, we haven't, because this is your lower low. The reason why is because it's always from high to low to high to low. You don't include all these other lows as the price goes up. You go from the low, from the absolute low before the high. So when it comes to market structure change, people kind of mistake the structure, thinking, oh my god, this is bearish, we're putting in lower lows and lower highs. Well, actually, no, you're not. Yeah, that was the higher low, that's the higher high, that's your range. The price, all the price needs to do now is find a higher low in that range. Typically it will come back to around 50% or the golden pocket. Golden pocket's the best. Look here, look at that, back to the golden pocket, and you found support, probably for a higher low here, probably. And as I was showing you in the order flow, that there was some buying, there was a buying tail. Anyway, this is kind of, it's good to buy and sell at the golden pocket. Yeah, so if it's like, if we do go now and take out that high, it'd be nice. Yeah, and we come back again. It's good to just kind of buy and sell at the golden pocket, and that's how the trends start to form. What starts to happen is that the market as the price goes up, market starts to get really bullish, mega bullish. Then you start to see some impulsive market buying, mainly at the highs. Those are good places to take profit. When you start seeing impulsive buying at the highs, it's a good place to take profit. And if you don't want to be out of position, you could scale short to cover your longs, or you could take profit on your longs, skim a bit, and you can add that back as it goes back down to put in a higher low. And you can actually trade these corrective uptrends very nicely if you're willing to do that, or just wait for the higher target. And that's probably what most people would do, just wait for higher targets. In this context, if this is our pivot low, the first kind of major higher target that I would consider, we're coming into it now, the golden pocket. But maybe just let's kind of expand the range a bit. Let's go from the top to the bottom. It's around 102k. We've already hit it once, there, for a rejection. Yeah, there's no reason to think that we go up, we don't reject again. But how many times can we reject before we actually go up? You know, we can reject a few times, but ultimately you're kind of looking at the price moving from maybe golden pocket to golden pocket to golden pocket. You know, you could just do this all day long. To golden pocket to golden pocket for some kind of short squeeze up. The market's still bearish, but that's kind of how the price behaves in these kind of situations. So naturally, just looking at what I just drew, just made it up. It's good to kind of imagine what could happen. You have this kind of trend line there. The market will get really bullish when we start trying to break that trend line. Probably that's a good place to take profit. Then wait for a pullback to the golden pocket. If we start getting that behavior, it'll be bullish because you'd have taken out that higher high. Market is now confirmed bullish uptrend on the 4-hour time frame. That would be nice. Could take profit at that 4-hour high. And then wait for the price to just fall back correctively to the golden pocket for a nice entry wherever that pivot's been put in. That correlates very nicely with this Wyckoff distribution. If you see how the price, I mean, this is kind of an imaginary drawing, but it's kind of this, isn't it? It's this kind of this section, up down up down. We could have a really nice alt season, mini alt season, if the price starts doing that, because then people will believe that the low is in. They'll see that Bitcoin is just going up and down in a range, just range bound. Yeah. Not to say alts won't pull back when Bitcoin pulls back, but then people were looking to pump as Bitcoin kind of finds support on the pullback. And then you could get a little bit of a kind of mini alt season. I think fundamentally, if we want to see alts move, we need ETH to pump. Solana pumping doesn't create or induce alt season, it's ETH. Okay, so one of the reasons, and you know, when ETH does pump, it's going to suck the liquidity out of Solana, and that's just a reality of what will happen if ETH starts to pump. Okay, doesn't look like it wants to pump right now, but it always looks bearish before it becomes bullish. Back into the range. So if we can just kind of find support here, then I would hope that we can actually push up to higher prices. I think ETH needs to pump, and when ETH does pump, Solana is saying, Amir, do you think ZEF could recover 0.6 on QANX? I'll have a look at that for you. The minute ETH starts pumping, all of the liquidity and money flow is going to flow into ETH. Nothing's going to be immune from that. Bitcoin, Solana, every single altcoin will start giving up its value to ETH. So it's just food for thought. I'm not saying some alts can't pump when ETH pumps. Generally speaking, when that happens, alts will still go up in UST value, but in terms of actual kind of crypto value, once ETH starts moving, it will draw the liquidity from the rest of the market. It just will. Yeah, nothing will be immune from that. If ETH starts to really pump, then it's best to be in ETH. Really, it will be better to be in ETH. Like you could be in your altcoins and you'll be doing well because ETH is pumping. But once the spotlight's on ETH, yeah, everyone will be buying ETH, and they'll be selling their altcoins to buy ETH. It doesn't matter what they are. You get some smaller coins which kind of do some kind of mini pumps. Be hard to catch those unless you're already in them, because you don't want to catch it after they pump. I think we could be in for a little bit of an ETH pump, but the problem again with ETH is that we had very different to Bitcoin. We had a bearish close. We closed lower on the weekly time frame. Okay, so it's a bearish close, but we have a really, like I said, with the same type of capitulation. This is a capitulation candle, increasing volume, took out the lows of this range, really bullish actually, and this could be the low. This whole candle could be the low. Doesn't mean we can't come back for a test in the future. Sometime in the future we could always come back for a test here, okay, but it doesn't mean that we can't now go up. And I'd like to see, what I really want to see here now, if possible, is a really nice bullish engulfing, to be honest with you. on ETH, and then we can get a crypto pump, which in my imagination would take ETH to about 3,700. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. But again, and then people will be like on X will be talking, oh my god, ETH is about to go to 1 million, inverse head and shoulders. I won't be thinking that. I'll be thinking, take profit, like get out, escape, go back to Tether. Initially it's going to go up, potentially up to 3,100. This is the golden pocket. So the golden pocket is really important. You can't ignore it. That's the first kind of area of resistance in this downtrend. So based on where we are, that would be, yeah, that's kind of my first target with ETH. Marve is saying, at the moment I have an equal share of XRP, Solana, Doge, BTC, and 2.5 share of ADA. I don't share the Ether Dream. Doesn't matter whether you share it or not. If you want alt season, ETH pumps. It's just a fact. You're not going to get alt season with any other token pumping except ETH. It's just a fact. So the more people realize that, the more the better they will be able to analyze the future. It's just a fact. It's just a reality. ETH has to pump. But you know, they might be pushing the price down, and that's how you get short squeezes, and that initiates the pump. You know, that's how the pump begins. Doesn't matter. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But I mean, I said, I mean, if BTC hasn't bottomed out necessarily, but you have a capitulation candle, and that's the beginning of what could happen next. Those are really important. Yeah, we're kind of underneath the point of control, so we're into a little bit of resistance on this local range. If we can get back above it, then you never know. We'll see what happens. Oh, he did? The fucker. He said he would stop buying, and then he starts buying again. You were asking me about Zeph, so I'll just quickly have a look at that for you. Can it recover? Well, if I'm still talking about TRVL, then why not? If I still think TRVL can recover, why can't Zeph recover? Everything has the potential to recover. I sold my Zeph when I started seeing weakness here. It wasn't looking strong. It was just too bearish. Maybe you could argue it's the market. You could argue it's Zeph. You can make different kinds of arguments. The problem with this is you've invalidated every. It's the same problem with TRVL. You've invalidated every impulsive move. You've invalidated any kind of bullish divergence in this range. Okay. The problem with Zeph, actually, just looking at it, is the same as TRVL. You've got really strong momentum to the downside on these kind of higher time frames. You see that this weekly 20 moving average, simple moving average, is just ridiculously bearish. It couldn't hold it. It couldn't flip it as support, and you've got this kind of higher time frame, the 50, really bearish. Can it recover? Yes. Will it recover now? Probably not. You might get a relief rally, like if ETH starts pumping and the market starts turning bullish for a relief rally, you could get a relief rally, but you know, you could just easily just go up and back test some lower level for resistance for continuation effectively. You've got a weekly continuation, bearish continuation candle. You know, everything can recover, especially with these kind of smaller crypto projects. If there are issues, if they address them, then suddenly the market gets really bullish again on a project that they left. I think if you're stuck in a token and you just don't want to take a loss, and you know it can go lower, but you're stuck, you don't really want to sell the lows. that doesn't make sense, because the lows of a range are buying, they're effectively buy zones, they're not sell zones. You just have to wait for Bitcoin, just be patient and wait for Bitcoin to start hitting higher numbers, and ETH as well. Once you start see for ETH hitting that like golden pocket, that's probably the best time to kind of start disposing of your altcoins wherever they are, because then when ETH pulls back again, then these will all pull back much more. So hopefully, but by then this will be right back up to there. That'll be a good place to exit, and then just reevaluate probably for a back test of that SR flip. You've got quite a lot of volume here. You would expect the market to go back. It could feel bullish and you think, oh my god, this is the bottom, the bottom's in, we're going to the moon. The volume is really important to look at the volume and see if the volume confirms that idea, because you want quite high volume here and comparatively very low volume. So there's no buying interest here. You can tell because it's just falling and there's no volume. It's just yeah. I'd be more bullish if the volume at these lows is higher, but I can see the volume is pretty low. I arguably I imagine like a test of that level would probably be a potential exit if you're stuck. And because you've got these kind of massively bearish momentum lines, these moving averages, massively bearish, you have to get out on the next pump. Yeah, you have to. You can't just hold on, because do you know what I mean? Just be really careful. Don't get bullish in the next pump. There should be a pump, hopefully. I'm hoping that it's a pump for a lot of people's, but it just probably means that the only way that I think that you could recover this is a massive market buy with increasing volume that just goes like this. Just bam. And you'll see the volume. You'll see like a massive green volume candle. You could sell that too. You'd still sell that. Whatever happens, you sell. Huh? If you suddenly see a big market buy there, you sell that. You don't hold on for higher. Yeah. Whatever happens, you sell. Okay. In this context, you don't imagine the low is in. If you get a nice pump, you sell. If it's the first wave, sell it. Don't hold on for the first wave. If there's a first impulsive wave, if you start seeing an impulsive first wave, yeah, that's kind of what you're looking for. An impulsive wave, the first impulsive wave, which we haven't seen yet. Yeah. Remember that. Maybe that's your first wave. See, first wave sold. I don't know if that's like a first wave. The next one, next impulsive move, you sell. You try and sell the top. You look for 5 mini waves and then you try and sell the top, and then let the price settle down, and then you can figure out what you want to do next. But you would sell because the momentum is ugly as fuck. Yeah? So it doesn't really matter if you suddenly get a little bit of impulse here. See, the momentum is down. That would just kind of pull the price right back down. And for a token like this, the recovery, I think, needs to happen here and not lower. You kind of need to create a completely new range here over a period of time, allowing this momentum to fizzle, and then the recovery will be something like that, which would also be a sell. Everything here, anytime the price goes up, it will be a sell. But then only then do you have a chance to recover something like that. For that, that's the only way you can really recover from a strong downward momentum. Alternatively, you need massive injection of volume that just takes the price up in one go. Bam! That will be sold into, but at least then you have a chance to find support like that. And by then, the momentum has kind of flattened out or started to turn up on the low to medium time frames. Or you need a capitulation. a massive capitulation volume wick to indicate that we've hit the low, which we haven't experienced. Yeah, we had a little bit of a capitulation here. See that big volume? What ended up happening is the price. See, it was whatever happened, it was sold into. The rise was sold into, but the price came to the bottom. That was the chance for this to be a low. That was the chance. But you see, the momentum was strong to the downside, and the momentum carried it further. And that's the situation Zeph is in now. So you just have to bear that in mind, okay? And obviously the rest of crypto and Bitcoin will have an impact on what happens next. So I think, honestly, if you're trapped, just wait for the pump to get out. And if you're interested in this token, I think forget about it. Just forget it. Just don't bother. Yeah, you have to see strength. You have to see big strength, and you have to see the momentum turn. Okay, it goes against what I said in the past, but you know, crypto, as I've always said, it can always go up, it can always go down. Everything can happen in crypto. Sometimes things look really bullish and then they crash. Sometimes things look really bearish and then they pop. It's always, that's why we love it. That's why we love crypto, huh? Because of the moves. The moves can be very profitable if you're on the right, if you catch the right side of the moves. So it's just an idea. I don't know. There's options, okay? But whatever happens, the momentum is ultra bearish. If everything could be good, to $102 coin, even more. Right. So if you think if everything is going to be good and do $102, then chuck in $1,000, and you're risking $1,000 for 100x gain. You can lose your $1,000. Are you able to do that? And then you can walk away with 100,000. And just don't even look at it. Don't even look at the charts, you know. But if you're looking at the charts, it's not a good place or time to buy, even if the price is this low. Why? It would be better to see what happens. If you get a pump, then you can just buy down here, relative safety, because you put in higher highs. You've seen the price is showing strength, the momentum is fizzling out. Fine, you don't catch 83 cents. You come and you get it at $1.2. Who cares? Buy a little bit more. Do you get me? Why would you risk it here when the chart, there is a possibility, I'm not saying it's going to happen, that this could continue. And it's more likely to happen when other coins start pumping, because people will be like, shit, my coin is dead. At least let me sell it and chuck it into Solana and make back some of my losses. That's what people are going to be thinking when the market starts pumping. Looking at this, you know, some things have started pumping. So the market is on its way to recovery. People are starting to buy back in. These pumps are just market buys. People who are out of the market just getting back in. This is the first impulse. A lot of these moves, this is what you want to start seeing. The first impulse, increasing volume. These are good. These are the tokens you want to be involved in when you start seeing the first signs of interest. And when I talk about volume at the lows and something like swell, this is what you want to see. You want to see big red volume at the lows of the price range. When you start seeing that, then that's a good sign. And so until you start seeing that, you see the momentum here is flattening. It's still, look, it's still bearish, but now that you're getting some impulsive buying, there's a chance for these tokens. Look, it's still a sell. That pump, look, it's still sold into. You know, you see that? It's still a sell. It's not a buy, but that's what you want to start seeing. You want to start seeing a little bit of impulsive buying, which is going to help to turn these trends. The trends are still down on most of these tokens, and so the next big pump we get is for the most part of what I imagine is going to be some kind of relief rally rather than the big move that we're all waiting for, just simply because of the horrible downtrends that a lot of these tokens are in. No token is immune from this terrible downtrend. Look, even near is a strong token. Look at it. It's been struggling for such a long time. Very strong token, very strong community. Near is actually looking really bullish. Just FYI, just looking at it now, I can see it's quite bullish. You just always have to update your accounts and stuff. Just hide these. I'll explain why I'm feeling bullish about this. Even though it closed low on the weekly time frame, so it's a hard to buy. It might need a week to recover to make it look like, to make it really be bullish. But you've got a excuse me. You've got some kind of bullish Gartley here. See that? There it is. You've got a bullish Gartley, and you've come into the value area low of this range. Point controls in the lows. You've taken the lows of this range. Yeah. This is actually quite a good setup, to be honest with you. It's really bullish. It's really bullish. This, you had the pump, and you've got this kind of ABC type corrective move. So I'm not saying this is going to go to the moon, but like it could go to kind of to the top of the range, the golden pocket. So again, traders delight, these kind of higher time frame harmonics where the liquidity is taken from the low, where you're at the range value area low, just underneath point of control in the lows. So the next move here would, there's a kind of, it's a balance of probabilities, but this is kind of where you want it, you want to catch it here on a bullish Gartley. You don't want to buy this at the highs. This is where you want to buy it, at the lows, right here. After you see the price correct like this and bullish Gartley on a token like this, which is got good access to liquidity, it's got a big ecosystem, you know, it's got a good a lot of interest. And once these tokens start to pump, they really do pump. And so even though initially on a setup like this your target is kind of the golden pocket and some kind of previous range or range value area high, that would be a natural target for resistance. You know, that would be a really good place for resistance, potentially. And it's hard to do leverage here, so spot would be best. You could see a nice 70% increase in value scaling into here for an upswing all the way up to the range high. And the great thing about, the problem is the weekly candle was closed lower, but I do like that it closed higher than this weekly pivot. So for me, this is actually quite a good signal. It might take a week to turn. Yeah, it might take a week or two to turn before you actually see the actual move. But that would be a really good setup. So, you know, this is some food for thought. I'm not financial advice, yeah, but food for thought. Lots of food, lots of thoughts. Solana is asking me, which bull run is this for you? Well, honestly, I only got involved in crypto as a trader last bull market. I did very well and I did very badly. And since then, I've which is a good 4 years, I went deep into self-meditation and study to become even better. I love looking at candles, and so I kind of developed my own kind of candle theory based on that, which isn't new because there's different types of candle ideas and candle theories. It's just a accumulation of different ideas and experience in looking at candles. But then I also kind of participated in the chart champions for a year and did their course, and I kind of did some other things, just looking at different people's videos, just learning. There's a few good people out there, and I think the most important thing when it comes to trading or investing is to just kind of develop your own strategy that suits your lifestyle and suits your own risk appetite type thing. You can make a lot of money, you can lose a lot of money, and so the number one rule is to try and protect your money if you can. It's hard though, because sometimes when you want to make money, you have to risk a lot of money to make money, you know, and that's the problem. So it's quite important to try and catch the price at the right place at the right time. Not just about the right place, not just about the right time, it's about trying to catch it at the same time. You could always lose your money, and that's why we love and hate crypto. So that is that. What other things? I can't be on the stream for long. I've kind of gone over a lot of stuff already, so I don't know if I'm going to come back later. I probably will actually. Solana, QANX, and SLERF. Let me just quickly have a look at those to kind of give you some insight into what I'm looking at the moment when it comes to these tokens. So Solana, I'm still contemplating a higher time frame diamond reversal. Yeah. Possibly, I think that we have bottomed, and naturally I want to see the price kind of impulse away to the top of that range. I think for me the big resistance here, I'm not expecting Solana to pump to $400, by the way, just FYI. I'm really not, and I'm not looking for that move. I think it's just too high risk for and little reward actually, because of this structure that I'm looking at now. I think naturally with Solana, I don't know if it's even going to go to the top of the diamond. It might impulse there and then reject just to kind of liquidate people. But again, with Solana, that's my target. Golden pocket, value area high. It'd be nice to kind of get it there, and you could get a final kind of bullish impulse to just kind of come up to that area. Bit of liquidation, and then reject by the end of February. That would be nice, and I'm still looking for that to happen. There's no guarantees, you know, we haven't tested the point of control of this local range. That could also easily reject, you know. There's so many things that could happen, so you just got to be aware of this. So Solana, that's kind of still where I'm at. I am contemplating that Solana gives ETH its value. I'm not sure when it's going to happen, but I am contemplating that for a period of time Solana grinds up rather than impulses up, just because ETH is starting to pump. So ETH will pull the rest of the altcoins up, but all eyes will be on ETH, because after Bitcoin moves, it's usually ETH that moves next, not the other coins. So I'm still thinking about that. Naturally speaking, SLERF will move with Solana. SLERF has had some serious trouble with the price. We took out the all-time low. We've had a capitulation event. Now that Solana is going up, SLERF is going up with Solana. Okay, so Solana and SLERF are going up in unison at the moment, maybe kind of almost one-on-one. I don't think this is a long hold here, to be honest with you. I think whatever happens, SLERF has the same problems as a lot of other tokens. It's in a very dreadful downtrend, and there's no easy way to repair that without without continued capitulations and just to kind of turn this trend. I think the next big test on SLERF is probably going to be the previous all-time low. We may smash through that just to go and kind of go up and reject, you know, like that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. And that will coincide with Solana hitting big resistance. So I'm not very bullish on SLERF. I think the natural target for SLERF will be the golden pocket from the high of the dip of the drop. Probably that's kind of my area of interest for. I'm in longs now, but I'm looking to get out higher up. And that will make sense, because that will come into some kind of moving average too, and on the this outer trend line. Now, I'd like it to pump so I can take profit, and we can kind of do whatever it needs to do to bottom out here, if it wants to bottom out, or just whatever, just go lower. I don't know how this is going to play out, but SLERF and Solana are moving together. This is not, whatever happens, we're not. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think we're going to get a V-shaped recovery like this. V-shaped recoveries are usually quite impulsive, so we're not seeing that. And falling out of this range is extremely bearish. We're outside the value area low. The higher we go, the more likely people are going to try and exit if they're trapped, because they're not going to be feeling bullish on SLERF, regardless of what happens, how bullish they are on Solana. It's just put in an all-time low. It's just, you just can't be bullish on that. It doesn't matter if this is the buyer of an opportune lifetime, because there's a lot of trapped traders, trapped liquidity. I think to change my view on SLERF, I would have to see this correct and just get back above the point of control, get back into the range. When you get back into the range, can turn this momentum. It's going to take a bit of time. Then I'm going to start feeling bullish again, and I'd be happy to just kind of accumulate higher up after I've seen all of these things than just try and bottom catch when clearly the next pump could be sold into heavily. Okay, and at least traders who are long will take profit, and that's going to be the first pullback after a pump. So I'm not crazy bullish on SLERF as I was. It doesn't mean that this can't go to the moon in the future. I'm tracking this lower trend line here for a potential dump that in the future, you know, and that would take this to rock bottom lows. That would be a nice place to find support on this trend line and the lower trend line on a massive dump. It would have to coincide with Solana. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I have no idea. Just kind of trying to go down until you kind of can actually get out of here. And that would coincide with the rest of crypto, huh? It would have to coincide with Bitcoin capitulation type things. You know, there's a lot of things. So I think it's quite dangerous to be in this token, yeah? And I know that meme coins can pump. It would require a lot of volume, and we're not seeing the volume. We're not seeing the volume here. We're not seeing the volume that warrants pump. This isn't pump volume. Yeah, it's very corrective. Let's have a look at QANX. So what's going on with QANX quickly? I'm not going to spend much time on it. I mean, we're at an area of interest, aren't we? We're at the point of control. We've had some big sales, big volume buys and sells. There's quite a lot of volume coming in here. Finally, there's a lot of interest. I think nothing changes for me. It's still corrective. It's still correcting. Yeah. Just looking at the daily time frame yesterday, it closed higher, so that's quite bullish. Closing higher than the previous day is quite bullish. I consider that a bullish close. The weekly is miserable, isn't it? The weekly is miserable. So the next kind of big resistance here would be back at the top of that weekly high open, basically the previous week open. But we are at the point of control, so this is naturally where the price could find support. You've got to be careful, because if we do get a relief rally, now you see again what I talk about, this downward momentum, the momentum shift. When you get this momentum shift, because you have a prolonged downtrend, pumps get sold into. Pumps do get sold into. So if we do get a pump now, don't know how far we can pump. It's possible that it could be sold into. We'd have to see quite high volume to warrant higher prices to make this work if it wants to go up to that D point on this kind of corrective idea. But the reality is, if this crab is playing out, then there's no reason why we don't just go up to the 50 fib to find resistance, which would be a back test of this bottom range, this value area low here at about 4.5 cents. You see, so based on this crab idea that I had, that would be your big take profit. That would coincide with these momentum lines turning, and momentum has to play out. You just can't ignore it. Just can't ignore it. because the price never does, unless you have like a white swan type event where you have like, I don't know, mainnet launches, Apple invests type kind of shit news, big news, not shit news, big news. You'll see that though, because you'll get the news and you get this massive big volume, green volume. The price will be at like 2.6 whatever. You still sell that. You still sell, you know. This is what I'm saying. Like when the price pumps, you still sell. You got to take profit. You can't just sit and go, oh my god, this is now going to the moon. Yeah, you have to take profit, even if you don't sell your whole stack. I'm not saying sell your whole stack, but you've got to take profit, because the probability is that when you get the pump, you're going to get a lot of people take profit into the pump, and then the price is just going to correct. So we're not in that stage now where it pumps, where you don't even need to take profit. Just not look at the computer, not look at your phone. Yeah, we're not at that stage. We're not at that place where you can just ignore the charts and think this is going to the moon. Pumps, because of the deadly downtrends of most of these altcoins, a lot of these pumps are selling opportunities. Sell to buy back lower. It's not a big deal, you know. A lot of people got a large amount of QANX. I said QANX, sorry, QANX. I'm an idiot. Large people have a lot of QANX. Sell some. Wait for the dip. Put your limit orders. Let's create higher lows. Yeah, well, you know, don't just kind of hold on to your stack and say this is going to the moon. Contribute to the price action. If you see the price pump to 4 or 5 cents, take a little bit of profit, put it on the side, wait for the next big dip. You have to be patient, set it aside. Don't think this is going significantly high. It might. Then if it does hit your target of higher, you can take a little bit more profit and then put it on the side and then wait for the big correction. And then that's the way that we can create higher lows, and that's the way that this trend can actually start to become increasingly bullish. Yeah, increasingly bullish. That's kind of what we want. But that being said, just putting all of that aside, if and when in the future Bitcoin does capitulate, whether it goes to 84k or 73k or whatever, no one really knows. It's all speculative at the moment. So if it's a big if, a lot of people are going to be calling for, this is the big altcoin season, we're going to the moon, I'm not in that mindset at the moment, just because of the big downtrends. But I do potentially think that what I was saying before, we are like in an A, B, C type situation here. That would be really nice. But if we don't get that, then, you know, and then we're looking for a final corrective move. If it takes out that low, it invalidates this impulsive mover, and then this whole thing is just one big correction. So that wasn't even a 5-wave move. It was the whole thing was this whole thing becomes a corrective move. And then if this whole thing is a corrective move, then you're actually, you know, you're looking for much lower. But we can't contemplate that yet, because we are putting in higher lows. And so it's really important in this next move up. Hopefully we get a nice move that people do take a little bit of profit, and set limit orders, don't market sell. And that way, if we do get a final dip in the future, then there's enough liquidity on the sidelines for QANX holders to defend the lows for a really nice higher low with any kind of Bitcoin capitulation, rather than kind of panic selling at the end and pushing the price down. So plan ahead. Yeah, don't just think we're going to the moon now. I think that's just crazy thoughts. It's always crazy to think that, when you can kind of take a little bit of profit into resistance and then put it on the sidelines for the defense of the lows in the future, if and when it comes. Okay, but you obviously don't want to kind of destroy your moon bags, so you've got to have a little trading bag too to be able to do that. That's kind of QANX. I've gone over SLERF. I've gone after Solana. The last one I'm going to look at is an interest. It's only an interest of mine. It's is a hobby, so I'm going to continue doing my hobby. And so yesterday I did a pretty long stream on TRVL. Most of you aren't interested, that's fine. But I was talking about, this is not the place to sell. Don't sell. Don't panic sell. I mean, I can only give people a little bit of advice. I'm not always right. I'm sometimes right, but not always. I made a video on TRVL. Don't panic sell. Options for the lows and fib time signal. So it's a long video. I don't expect people to watch it. So interestingly enough, we get a little market buy here. I'm using the shared exchanges to see the data. 2.12 million. That's quite a significant volume. Okay, so I like that. When you're looking at this chart, you can actually see for the first time in a long fucking time, we've got a nice green volume candle. Yeah. On the daily time frame, it's still relatively insignificant, but at least we have a chance, a boxer's chance of a failed auction. That's kind of what I'm contemplating next, the failed auction. Okay. I am also thinking to myself, we could go lower, but I think it was a really bad place and to sell, ridiculous to sell into all-time lows. The downtrend is still aggressively down. Okay, and so that still has to be turned on the higher time frames, but it starts with the lower time frames. That's what I was saying yesterday in my video. The downtrend turning starts with the lower time frames. Yeah, you can't turn the uptrend, the downtrend in the higher time frame if you haven't been able to somehow turn the trend in the lower time frames. And so this is good news. We've got a little bit of market buying here. That's kind of what you want to see, impulsive buying. Yeah, that gets people interested in buying when people start seeing the initial impulsive move. And because of the low liquid environment, whoever was accumulating in this final dip is already up 7%. Do they sell or do they go for higher? Can't tell. You know, people have to make up their own minds. But this is how you turn the trend. You see here now on the 1 hour time frame, the trend is actually, the moving averages are starting to flatten. They're starting to turn. So the longer that we can kind of hold slightly higher prices from the actual low, the better chance we have of recovery on TRVL. Okay, so this is the fight back. We want to see increased impulsive buying. We want to see increased volume. I think whatever happens, yeah, there is a chance that it will be sold in two, or maybe the selling has ended. I don't know. This is quite impulsive. But I think what needs to happen next is really important. For a failed auction, we want to see the previous all-time low, which is this level here. And I've marked it off. Oh, fuck. I haven't marked it. Parallel channel. Right, not a parallel channel. Let me just create that's better. Is that the one? Yeah. Let me get rid of that parallel channel. So that's the previous all-time low. That has to be flipped into support. That's what we want to see. Yeah, we want to see impulsive buying, which we're starting to see now. Great, thank you, whoever did that. And then we want to see continuation. So buyers, we need to see continued buying, smash through the all-time low, and then we need to see it act as support. Yeah, we need to see that. We need to see a failed auction of the all-time low. Once you see a failed auction of the all-time low on a slightly higher time frame, the daily time frame would be great. Then we have a chance to change market structure and change this trend back to bullish. Effectively, something like, let me just delete this, and I'll just use this. I'll just use this fractal as an example. I don't know. I can't predict the future. I have no idea. I had no idea we're going this low, to be honest with you. I thought that there'd be more interest. in TRVL, but it's crypto, huh? Crypto always surprises you. What would I be looking for? Fractal here. Let's just take a look at that. It's not the same. Let's just imagine something. It's like different. Let's do it to that. You need a failed. We need a failed auction of the previous source, something like that with a market structure change. We just kind of need something like that here, to be honest with you. It is possible to get something like this, but I'm not seeing it at the moment because all I'm seeing now is just one impulsive buy. But we've never had a low where, the only time that we've had a low where we just, this was a low, wasn't it? We had two impulsive buys in a row. So, I mean, that would be an idea too. So let me just kind of mark that out. So these are our lows at the moment. So that's why I'm imagining lows. I'm just focusing on previous lows to see how this could play out. It kind of something like that. It's kind of what you want. You want to see the previous all-time offer support. You want to see the impulsive buying continue. Yeah, that gives people a chance to sell if they want to, but also it gives people a chance to buy in when they start seeing the price find support. If we do get that kind of price action here, then we have a really good chance of repeating this first impulsive move. This was on the downtrend too, so I don't want to, like, I haven't been trying to scare people with this downtrend. Yeah, this was at the tail end of this downtrend, and so the context here is slightly different because I don't know if we're at the tail end of this downtrend. It looks like the trend is really strong to the downside, whereas here it looked like the trend was fizzling out a little bit, but oh, got an alert. Let's have a look. Anyway, look, I don't know. I don't really know what's going to happen with this. I think our first test now is the previous all-time low. We can get back above it and flip it back into support, then we have a chance. We have a chance to get out of here. Whatever happens, we have to turn this momentum back to front. And in order to do that, we need impulsive buying. And it has to be, people have to go buy, market buy mental. I would love it if we could market buy all the way up to 2.9 cents. Market buy, market buy, market buy. That would be a higher high on the daily time frame, and only then will we have a chance. People will sell that, but only then will we have a chance to find support back at the previous all-time low for a higher low. Then if there's enough interest here to hold the low, then if we can hold the low long enough just to fizzle out this momentum, then we have a chance to, when the price wants to go up, to do that. That's a failed auction type situation of the lows, but it's extremely speculative. I have no idea, but that's kind of what I'll be looking for if this pump continues. I imagine the pump will be sold into, so I think the volume is going to be really important to look at to see if the price going up has increasing volume, and if the volume is healthy volume. We don't want to see low volume rises. We kind of want to see increasing volume. It just means that people selling are being, their sales are being bought, and that's key. We want to see that. So this is the first sign of life. This is the first sign of recovery that we've experienced in a long time. If you look at the whole downtrend, we had a little bit of buying here, but it led to not. Yeah, that's kind of the first sign of significant recovery here for a long time. So that gives us a little bit of hope, and it actually gives the chance for these moving averages to turn. So that's TRVL. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Let's see what Bitcoin is doing. Let's see what Bitcoin is saying. Let's see if Bitcoin is going to the moon. We're back up. You see, I told you it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad place to buy. And ETH BTC is going nicely. Look, ETH just pumped in the last 30 minutes. So we've just, on the local time frame, we're putting in higher highs, higher lows. So it's starting. Look, Solana, fuck a duck. Solana, $207. Wow. So we're starting to get the kind of crazy impulsiveness that we want to see. This is good news, isn't it? This is good news. All because of the low that I talked about yesterday in my last night's stream. So again, I'm not a soothsayer, but you know, it's good to kind of look at these kind of higher time frame candles and see what's going on, and it gives you a clue. Solana's coming into a little bit of resistance now, but now we're starting to see the altcoins start to move, because ETH is finally starting to show a little bit of life. Traders will take profit, just FYI, so the price will pull back. Let's have a look at the order flow quickly. Yeah, you see, little pump, New York pump. A little pumpy, little dumpy, gets everyone a little bit wet. Look at that long, someone market longed, and now they're underwater. What a bunch, what an idiot. Why don't you just limit long? Why do you have to market long? Anyway, it is what it is. Trading 101, long the highs, short the lows. I can't really see anything other than we've just put in a local higher high, and now the price is being sold into. I can't see any single prints. That's a shame, because that would be nice if we saw some single prints. Let's just quickly have a look at ETH here. Still got that nice buying tail there. Let's have a look at Solana here. Perfect. You see, Solana is good. Solana, we've got this juicy single print here, between $205 and $206. Solana is a good one, huh? I'm going to buy some more Solana, to be honest with you, on this little pullback, because it's really low. That's what you want to see. You want to see single prints. That means that the price is probably trying to go higher. It's hard for the price to come back underneath those gaps once they form. So I'm just going to kind of look at my phone and start longing some more on Solana. Just small amounts, so, you know, I never go crazy. It's coming in now, so just a little bit. Just add a little bit, and let's ride this ball, huh? Let's ride this ball to the moon. To the moon. Okay, let's hope that New York wants to take the price higher as well. That's always a challenge, to know what New York's going to do. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. Always appreciate the company, and I hope you enjoy my streams. If you do, then just chuck a like. That would be appreciated. And yeah, you see, this is good. So looking at ETH pump, now it's finding support. The price goes up, looks for support, higher lows, higher highs. This is kind of how it's gonna be hard for people to trade, unless you just kind of dollar cost average into the lows and just kind of take profit into the highs. But it's looking quite good. All right, have a wonderful day. If I get a chance, I'll come back for a late night chill and kind of reevaluate the end of the day, price action, daily close. Really important for me to see how the day closes. There's going to be a lot of volatility and chop. There always is, yeah. And no one can predict the future. Could this green candle go all the way down and fall down to the lows here? Of course it can. Of course it can. Totally do that. But at the moment we're putting a lower high here. We haven't actually taken the high, so it's looking quite, it could be bearish, but actually maybe we can squeeze up. Maybe people are going to look at that and start shorting. I kind of want this next 12-hour candle to be green, so that's quite a long time to wait on ETH. So we could be kind of quite volatile here, going up and down, range bound price action. That was a good 2-hour close, a really strong 2-hour close, increasing volume. So you just want a higher low here, and then we have a good chance at going up. That's a 1-hour bullish engulfing. So you've got some bullish candles starting to form in this up move, huh? So the price could always come back to the low of the candle for a test to go back up, and that's normal if that's what it wants to do. But this is quite good. We've got some quite strong bullish candles forming, and that kind of gives you confidence about potentially higher prices. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. Kind of just, it's going to be hard for people to long. Like here, looking at Solana, even though we've created single prints, you can see there's a nice little kind of uptrend line here forming, can't you? So those are opportunities every time we come back down to the lows to buy some more, to see if this uptrend can continue and grind up until we finally get a little end of move pumpy, and then that would be a good place to kind of take your big profits, hopefully up there. That's kind of where I'm aiming for. But I'm naturally going to look at this point of control as big resistance somewhere at 216. You can't ignore it. You just can't ignore these big areas of interest. It's only on its own. There's no confluence, so it may not hold, because the reason why I say that is because you've got 382 in the way. If the price can find its way above the 382, you could just kind of get stuck here before it continues, you know, like, or it could go up and reject. There's so many things that could happen, so that's why it's good to just kind of take a little bit of profit. That's a daily level actually, so my bad, there is confluence. You've got the point of control and the daily level there, so that is actually a really important take profit, to be honest with you. 216, and only because you're not expecting the price to do that. You're expecting the price to find resistance and then pull back, and so it gives you an opportunity to take profit and then compound on the dip. That's kind of where my mind is at now at the moment, because this is starting to look like a reversal here, isn't it? It's starting to look a little bit like a reversal, little kind of Adam and Eve pattern forming here, isn't it? And so in this context, that's your Adam, that's your Eve. You're going to start to see people on X going, Adam and Eve, we're going to the moon. Typically an Adam and Eve pattern, you can take profit at the neckline, which is in this case very strong resistance, yeah. And if it does decide to push through with volume like that, then the next big long is going to be the back test of the neckline for continuation. Because the reason why you're going to take profit there is because the price could do this, and then what do you do? Then you just have to buy the lows, and you're fucked because you haven't taken profit. So just be aware of what Adam and Eve's can play out, but it requires volume to push through the neckline to break to the top, and then that's big take profit at the top. But even if you take profit at the right place there, you'll probably be able to put it back in on the pullback after it continues after it drops for a back test of the neckline. So the problem of Adam and Eve's is you can get a rejection from those highs, and it will look really bullish, but it rejects, and then it comes all the way down to the bottom of the range. People get really bearish. They go, oh god, this is now going down. They sell, and then guess what happens? Bing. So just be aware of like how the market can fool you when you're thinking something, it could always fail, which is why you take profit and then just reevaluate. So in this context, probably be looking to take big profit if we can get up to 216. Probably, yeah, that's a really strong area. Daily level, good point of control of the range, neckline of an Adam and Eve pattern. You take profit if the volume pushes us up, fine, you're still in. You know, you haven't lost anything. You've taken profit and you're still in your position. In some, you don't take all your profit, you take enough to go and buy lunch. All right, have a wonderful day. I'll try and come for a late night chill tonight, 10:30 or so PM, just to try and catch the daily close, try and kind of analyze the day's price action, see where we land by the end of the day. I'm not going to look at like intermediary price action fluctuations and start going bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish, and start panicking. I'm kind of just focusing on the higher time frame, which is, in my mind, it's the daily time frame. That's what I'm looking at right now. Yeah, I'd like to see what the daily time frame does. I like to see how the daily closes. I like to see a higher close above the previous day high, which is there at the moment. So I can pretty much do nothing, just wait. If we close lower, we close lower. If we close higher, we close higher. I want to close higher, okay? And if we close higher, then we've got a reversal on our hands for continuation to the upside. And lo and behold, what happens if we close all the way up there? Well, that would be a big take profit if we can close all the way in the highs there, wouldn't it? That would be a massive take profit. You can just wait for the daily close and then take profit, basically, and then wait for the pullback. That's kind of why I wait for the daily close, because who knows, you know, shit happens. You know, suddenly you just get the price trending to the upside, everything's bullish, and then you don't really need to do anything. Just looking at the price action, I think it's unlikely that we go down, but nothing is impossible in crypto. So just make sure your stop losses are set to a reasonable level if you're already in longs, and if you're not, then just looking at Solana, isn't it? Looking at this, I told you the single print's a good place to long. Just looking at Bitcoin is primarily what you're looking at. Just kind of right at the bottom of this local range, 97260. I don't know. You just have to see where the price finds support. It could find support anywhere, to be honest with you. But in the context of a range, you want to catch the lows. You want to buy into the lows. Yeah, the VWAP is the right place, basically. If you can get along on the VWAP, that would be the right place for a back test of the VWAP. New York sometimes likes to test daily open, and you can't predict that. And right now the VWAP is trending above the daily open, and so naturally I would prefer it if the VWAP just offers support for continuation to the upside. That's what I would prefer. Yeah, the VWAP and the previous day high will kind of correlate with this session point of control. There's a little bit of correlation potentially here at about 97280. So it's kind of an area where you'd probably look for longs, for a little bit of reaction for longs. Hopefully, let's see what happens. All right, have a wonderful day. I'm gonna go, and so I'll maybe see you next time this evening, hopefully. Okay, I'll post it on Discord if and when I have a confirmation of that, because I have to do some things today. All right, take care. See you guys. Bye bye.